Well, it is a big story this morning. Late-term abortions will continue in Albuquerque today.
This after voters rejected a plan that would have banned them after 20 weeks in most cases. Here's a look at the final numbers. 54% of the votes went against the ban. 55%, while 45% were for them. This morning we have reaction from both sides of the election. News 13's Samantha McDonald has more from downtown Albuquerque. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning, Matt. Pro-life advocates say they are disappointed by the results but will continue to fight. Opponents of the ban, on the other hand, are calling this a victory for Albuquerque families. Take a look at this video. A lot of polling places were packed yesterday. As the early voting numbers came in, pro-choice advocates, including the group Respect ABQ Women, knew they had defeated the ban.
The people of Albuquerque rejected an extreme agenda pushed by out-of-state and out-of-touch groups that want to end safe and legal abortion altogether. Dangerous bans like this do not belong in Albuquerque or New Mexico or the nation.
Pro-life groups are obviously disappointed by the outcome of the election, but say the grassroots petition that helped get this issue on the ballot in the first place shows the strength of the anti-abortion cause. And they did learn an important lesson here. They say money counts. They claim they were outspent 4-1 by the other side, with a lot of cash coming from national groups.
There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of money that went into their campaign when we really focused on utilizing our base and local people, volunteers, people who really pour their hearts and souls into this.
A lot of people on both sides of the issue consider this a groundbreaking day. That's because voters decided on an issue like this instead of lawmakers. Back to you.
All right, thank you for the update, Samantha. Mayor R.J. Berry voted for the late-term abortion ban. Here's what he had to say about it after all the votes were in.
The voters of Albuquerque make decisions, and tonight they made a decision against that particular petition, and we respect the will of the voters, and we work for the voters of Albuquerque, and when they make a decision, we respect that.
And with so much emotion and buzz around this special election, the city clerk's office was ready for a record turnout after, for the first time ever, the number of early votes outnumbered the votes on Election Day. But turnout, turns out, wasn't nearly as high as many expected. Jefferson Middle School here near UNM was one of the busiest polling places last night, and as usual on Election Days, the 5 o'clock hour brought out some big crowds. At Isotopes Park, the line wrapped around the building. Some people said they waited for about a half hour to go ahead and vote. Once 7 o'clock rolled around, plenty of people were still waiting in line to cast their ballots. We're told anyone who was in line at 7 was able to vote. City Clerk Amy Bagley says in all, 87,296 people cast their ballots in this special election, which equals a turnout of 24%.
We actually expected a little more based on early voting numbers, but for a citywide election, it's, kind of on par.
Yeah, I talked to somebody earlier today and he said that all of them were pretty crowded, but that they were going fast. I mean, there's one issue, so they said it was pretty quick.
Special election did draw significantly more than last month's mayoral election. That turnout was about 20%. It's about 17,000 fewer voters. You can get more on all of this at our website, KRQE.com. Coming up on 5:35, under pressure from us here at News 13 and other media outlets, a district court judge has reversed his order to close a preliminary hearing. This is for a Torrance County official and a contractor accused of fraud.
Torrance County Manager Joy Ainsley and contractor Christopher Valdez each face 10 counts of fraud and other charges involving 4 county projects. Prosecutors allege the two inflated costs on the projects to $470,000. Yesterday, District Court Judge Kenneth Martinez decided to unseal the records in the case during the preliminary hearing.
Allowing not only public access, but access by any of the various media outlets.
Both Ainsley and Valdez have pleaded not guilty. The judge will now decide if there's enough evidence to take the case to trial.
We are following some developing news out of northeast Albuquerque right now. 2 people are in jail in connection with a brutal attack that left a man gravely hurt. About 10 o'clock yesterday morning, police officers swarmed the Pines apartment complex here on Marble near Lomas in Pennsylvania. They were responding to a 911 call about a group of people trying to break into one of the apartments through a window. There, police found a man bleeding. We are told he has no brain activity this morning. He is not expected to survive. Officers then arrested Devin Dominguez and Michael Strickland in connection with this case. We could learn more about this a little bit later. Today, we'll keep you updated. And Governor Susana Martinez says she wants to see all the facts before she weighs in on a police shooting that has made national headlines. As we've been showing you, a state police officer pulled over Oriana Farrell for speeding. This was near Taos late last month, but she drove off before he gave her a ticket. Well, the officer caught up with her again. Another officer got involved, and that's when things got a little hairy here. After one officer tried to pull that woman out of the van to arrest her, Farrell bolted, and her 14-year-old son, you see him get out of the van there, he rushed over. The officer pulled out the taser, then his baton. He broke out the windows of the van. Another state police officer then shot at the back tires of the van as Ms. Farrell drove off again for the second time. The officer says he was just aiming for the tires, but some say the shooting was uncalled for. The governor says, well, she wants to know more about this.
But this was a 40-plus minute event, not chase, an event. From the time the lady was stopped all the way till it was completed, it was 40-plus minutes. And so there's a lot of information that the public hasn't seen yet, nor have I.
Well, the chase, or the event as the governor calls it, eventually ended at this hotel in Taos. It's where Ms. Farrell and her son were both arrested. The Taos County DA does not think he will charge the officers involved.